Some ancient objects built by our ancestors do not feel mysterious simply because they are old. They feel wrong because they look far too deliberate. An ancient computer capable of predicting astronomical cycles. A prehistoric tomb built from blocks, weighing more than 50 tons. A burial chamber where skulls reveal brain surgery done millennia ago before medicine. Archaeologists can examine them, date them, document them, and place them behind museum glass, but the one question that refuses to disappear is the same. What were these things actually made for? The weirdest ancient mysteries aren't the ones born from myths. They're the ones supported by real excavations, verified sites, and authentic artifacts that still leave even the world's foremost minds searching for answers. These are the 15 weirdest ancient mysteries nobody can explain. Number 15. The Giant of Castelnau. The story of giants is as old as time itself. Almost every ancient civilization spoke of enormous people who once walked the earth, from the Nephilim in the Bible to the giants of Greek mythology. But what if one discovery seemed to give those legends a surprising dose of reality? According to the official record, back in 1890, anthropologist Georges Vacher de la Pouge found 3 enormous bone fragments from a Bronze Age burial mound near Castelnau, France. The finds included part of a femur, a tibia, and an upper arm bone, all far larger than those of an ordinary human. After publishing the measurements in La Nature, Lapouge estimated the individual may have stood around 3.5 meters, or more than 11 feet, tall. Well, specialists at the University of Montpellier examined the bones and agreed they appeared totally human, but abnormal growth could not be ruled out. The bones later disappeared, were never re-examined, and their true origin remains one of archaeology's strangest unanswered mysteries. Are giants real? Number 14. The Vina culture and the triangular watchers. The story of writing may be far older than the first cities of Mesopotamia. Between roughly 5400 and 4500 BC, the Vina culture spread across parts of modern Serbia, Romania, and Bulgaria, leaving signs carved into pottery, figurines, and clay objects. Many experts see them as symbols rather than a proven script, but their meaning remains unknown. Just as puzzling are the figurines found at Vina settlements. Their faces are often triangular, with broad almond-shaped eyes and barely marked mouths, giving them an appearance unlike ordinary human portraits. Serbian archaeologist Miloje Vasi began excavating the type site at Vina Belo Brdo in 1908. Yet more than a century of study has not explained what these figures represented. Ancestors, gods, ritual performers, or something else entirely? The Vina left no readable account behind, only repeated signs and silent faces. That combination makes them one of prehistoric Europe's weirdest mysteries, an ancient message still sitting in plain sight, with nobody able to read it. Number 13. Samaipata Well. Bolivia might not be the first place that comes to mind when people think about ancient mysteries, but perhaps it should be. Around 75 miles southwest of Santa Cruz, high in the foothills of the Andes, sits Samaipata, the largest carved rock in the Americas. From a distance, it looks like nothing more than a sandstone ridge. But if you walk closer, the entire surface tells a different story. Stretching for nearly 650 feet, the rock is covered with straight channels, carved circles, niches, seats, and a winding feature experts call the serpent spine. Archaeologists believe several cultures, including the Mojocoya, the Chan, and later the Inca, used the site across many centuries. But no one can say who carved the earliest sections or why such an enormous design was created in the first place. Well, even after becoming a UNESCO heritage site in 1998, Samaipata remains one of South America's strangest archaeological mysteries. Number 12. Who was Utsuro Bune? Every single country on Earth has at least one unforgettable UFO story. America has Roswell. Britain has Rendlesham Forest. But Japan? Japan's most famous close encounter happened centuries before flying saucers ever entered popular culture. According to the story, back in the early 1800s during the Edo period, a strange vessel called the Utsuro Bune, meaning hollow ship, drifted onto the shores of Hitachi province. Curious fishermen gathered around the unusual craft, and from inside stepped a beautiful young woman carrying a small box she refused to let out of her hands. She spoke in a language nobody could recognize, making any conversation impossible. One of the fishermen eventually worked up enough courage to look inside the vessel and noticed mysterious symbols covering its inner walls, unlike anything he had ever seen. Minutes later, the woman quietly climbed back inside. The craft drifted away, and neither she nor the vessel was ever seen again. Was she simply a traveler from a distant land, an exile sent out to sea? Something far stranger, or the center of Japan's oldest unexplained mystery? Number 11. The bronze gods of Sangsing-Dui culture. Back in 1986, workers digging an irrigation channel near Guanghan in China's Sichuan province struck something unexpected. Beneath the soil lay a sealed sacrificial pit untouched for nearly 3,000 years. What emerged changed the way archaeologists looked at ancient China forever. Hidden inside were giant bronze masks, gold objects, ivory, and statues unlike anything found anywhere else in China. The most unforgettable pieces were the enormous faces with long, cylindrical eyes projecting several inches from the front, giving them an almost otherworldly appearance. These remarkable creations belonged to the Sangsing-Dui culture, which flourished between roughly 2800 and 1000 BC. Yet despite its extraordinary craftsmanship, almost nothing about this civilization appears in ancient Chinese historical records. Well, even more surprising is that excavations in 2021 discovered thousands of additional artifacts that had been deliberately smashed, burned, and carefully buried. Why would an advanced civilization destroy its own sacred treasures? 3,000 years later, the answer remains buried with them. Number 10. The lost civilization of Doggerland Well. About 10,000 years ago, the North Sea looked nothing like it does today. Instead of endless water separating Britain from mainland Europe, there was a vast stretch of fertile land called Doggerland. Thick forests, winding rivers, open grasslands, and rich hunting grounds covered a landscape where Mesolithic communities lived, hunted, and traveled for thousands of years. Then, things changed. As the Ice Age came to an end, melting glaciers slowly pushed sea levels higher. Around 8,200 years ago, the enormous Storegga submarine landslide off Norway unleashed a powerful tsunami that devastated much of the remaining land. By roughly 5500 BC, the sea had swallowed Doggerland. Today, fishermen still pull up flint tools, mammoth bones, and other ancient remains from the North Sea, while seismic surveys have revealed the outlines of rivers and hills hidden beneath the seabed. But one mystery refuses to vanish. Did an entire prehistoric culture vanish beneath those waters? Or have its greatest secrets never been found? Number 9. Spontaneous human combustion well. It may sound ridiculous to believe, but some people swear it has truly happened. A person suddenly bursts into flames and is reduced to nothing but a pile of ash, while their feet, hands, or even legs remain strangely untouched. It sounds like pure fiction, yet over the past 300 years, more than 200 reported cases of spontaneous human combustion have left investigators with more questions than answers. Victims are always found alone, their bodies burned beyond recognition, while the room around them shows little or no serious fire damage. In many cases, investigators even reported a greasy residue and an oddly sweet, smoky odor lingering in the air. Over the years, theories have ranged from alcoholism and static electricity to flammable body fat, divine punishment, and even supernatural forces. The strongest scientific explanation is the wick effect, where clothing acts like a candle wick, feeding body fat into the flames. Even then, it still fails to explain why nobody tried to escape, or why everything nearby was untouched. Number 8. The mystery of KV-55. According to the official story, back in 1907, archaeologists exploring Egypt's Valley of the Kings found a tomb that looked ordinary in almost every respect. It was later catalogued as KV-55. Inside rested a single mummified body surrounded by funerary objects linked to several different members of Egypt's royal family, creating questions almost immediately. More than 100 years have passed since that remarkable discovery, yet archaeologists still cannot say with complete confidence who was buried there or why the burial happened under such unusual circumstances. The leading theory identifies the mummy as Pharaoh Akhenaten after DNA studies revealed a close family connection to Tutankhamun. Even that explanation leaves another puzzle behind. Evidence strongly suggests the tomb had never been prepared for Akhenaten at all. Instead, many researchers believe it was originally intended for a royal woman, possibly Queen Nefertiti or Akhenaten's wife Kia, before the burial was unexpectedly changed. Why that happened remains one of ancient Egypt's most enduring archaeological mysteries. Number 7. Skeleton Lake of the Himalayas. Well, the name explains almost everything about why this place has fascinated people for decades. High in the Indian Himalayas lies Rupkund, or Skeleton Lake. It remains frozen for most of the year, hiding a chilling secret beneath its icy surface. But once the snow and ice begin to melt, hundreds of human skulls and bones slowly emerge from the water. The discovery first came in 1942 when a British forest ranger stumbled upon the horrifying scene. At first, officials believed the remains belonged to Japanese soldiers from the Second World War. Later, radiocarbon dating completely changed that theory, revealing many of the skeletons dated back to around 850 AD. So what really happened here? The strongest explanation suggests a violent hailstorm struck a group of travelers, with skull fractures matching powerful blows from giant hailstones. But one mystery refuses to disappear. Who were these people? Why were they traveling through such a remote place? And what brought them all to the same deadly end? Number 6. Konko Wankene. Not every ancient mystery begins with a strange carving or a buried city. Sometimes, the place itself is the puzzle. Konko Wankene sits on Bolivia's southern Altiplano, about 28 kilometers south of Tiwanaku. For years, few people outside archaeology had heard its name. Excavations changed that. Beneath the dry plain, experts found sunken courts, carved monoliths, separate ritual areas, pathways, and managed water channels. The center grew between roughly AD 100 and 500, before Tiwanaku reached its greatest power. Isotopy tests on human remains also showed that people traveled there from different parts of the region. This was not a forgotten village. It drew visitors across the highlands. Then, between the 6th and 7th centuries, its importance faded. Climate pressure may have played a role. Tiwanaku's rise may have pulled people and authority elsewhere. Yet no single answer explains why such an active ceremonial center went quiet. Konko Wanken remains one of Bolivia's least-known ancient mysteries. Number 5. Pocothia and the giant stone figures. The recorded history of humanity only tells part of the story. Sometimes a single find raises more questions than centuries of written records ever answer. Near Lake Titicaca, about 6 miles south of the ancient city of Tiwanaku, stands the mysterious Pocothia monolith. Although excavated in 1960, it attracted little attention until Bolivian researchers documented it in 2001. The statue portrays a standing figure wearing a headdress, armbands, and a loincloth, while strange carved symbols remain visible across its body. Archaeologists continue debating whether the monument belongs to the earlier Pucara culture or the later Tiwanaku civilization, leaving its true age uncertain. Even greater controversy surrounds the markings themselves. Some experts have claimed they resemble early Mesopotamian writing, while most specialists argue they belong to local Andean traditions. Whatever the answer, Pokosha still challenge researchers, proving that one stone figure can preserve mysteries that refuse to disappear. Number 4. The Ancient Chemical War Mystery Well. History has witnessed countless brutal battles, but the idea of chemical warfare nearly 2,000 years ago sounds impossible. But that's what the evidence from Dura Europos in Syria seems to suggest. During excavations, archaeologists uncovered Roman soldiers lying inside a narrow tunnel, their bodies frozen in positions that hinted at a terrifying final moment. Instead of dying in combat, they appeared to have been overcome by something they couldn't even see. Researchers later found traces of sulfur and bitumen, leading to the theory that Persian forces deliberately created poisonous fumes to suffocate the trapped defenders beneath the city walls. Not everyone agrees, though. Some experts think the deadly gases were an accidental result of ordinary siege tactics rather than a planned attack. Whatever the truth may be, one thing remains difficult to ignore. The battle for Dura Europos may represent one of history's earliest examples of warfare where an invisible weapon proved deadlier than swords. Number 3. Chavan de Juntar and the Fanged God High in the Peruvian Andes. Chavan de Juntar was built to affect more than the eyes. From about 1500 to 300 BC, this ceremonial center drew people through narrow passages, dark chambers, and underground galleries where sound behaved in unsettling ways. Acoustic studies show that conch-shell trumpets, known as pututus, created echoes and confusing shifts in direction inside those spaces. At the heart of the old temple stands the Lanzan, a granite figure about 4.5 meters tall, carved with human features, serpent hair, claws, and long fangs. Archaeologists see this creature as a supernatural being combining traits from several animals, not a portrait of an unknown species. Yet the ritual remains unclear. Were visitors guided through darkness while hidden sounds made the stone figure seem alive? Chavan spread its religious influence across much of the Andes without leaving a simple explanation of how. Number 2. The Tamam Shud Mystery. It was December 1st, 1948, when a well-dressed man was discovered dead on Somerton Beach in Australia. He carried no identification, every label had been removed from his clothes, and doctors couldn't determine exactly how he died. The only clue was a tiny scrap of paper hidden inside a pocket bearing the words Tamam Shud, a Persian phrase meaning the end. Investigators later discovered the paper had been torn from a rare copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Stranger still, they eventually found the missing book inside an abandoned car nearby. And scribbled across one page was a mysterious code that remains unsolved to this day. Was he a Cold War spy whose mission ended in silence? Was he deliberately murdered because he knew too much? Or was he simply an ordinary man caught in extraordinary circumstances? More than 70 years later, no country has ever claimed him, no fingerprint records have matched, and his true identity remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Number 1. The mysterious lizard-headed figures. According to the archaeological record, the mystery began in the early 20th century when British archaeologists excavating Tel al-Ubaid in southern Iraq uncovered a collection of clay figurines. Dating to the Ubaid culture, which flourished between roughly 6500 and 3800 BC, the figures had long heads, narrow faces, slanted eyes, and distinctly reptile-like features. Several even showed female figures nursing infants, suggesting they represented something far more important than ordinary decoration. Similar figurines have since been discovered at other Ubaid settlements across Mesopotamia, proving they were part of a shared artistic tradition rather than an isolated curiosity. Most archaeologists believe they carried religious or symbolic meaning, although no written explanation survives to confirm that idea. That unanswered question has fueled decades of speculation. Were these simply stylized depictions of deities, ritual figures, or something entirely different? Well, whatever your theories are, be sure to drop them below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like it and subscribe. Take care, and we'll see you soon.